Om. Om. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Deva Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. You all know the story of Sri Ram, isn't it? You all heard of it. Maybe you have not heard this part of the story, which I'm going to tell you now. You know, Ramchandra ji was born to Dasharath ji and Kausalya ji. He had three brothers, Lakshman, Bharat, Lakshman, and Shatrughna. He had two more mothers, Sumitra and Ekai. And as a child, Ramchandra ji was very loved by everyone. He was the apple of the eye of his father. He was the apple of the eye of Kekai also, who was the youngest mother. Her own child was Bharat, but she spent more time with Ramchandra ji. And as the brothers grew up, I'm not going into the story of how they came about, but as they grew up, they came as the prasad of the lords. And as they grew up, they were sent to the ashram. Which ashram they went to? They went to Sage Vasishtha's ashram. And Sage Vasishtha's ashram, who is the wife of Sage Vasishtha? Gautami is Gautama's wife. Sage Vasishtha's wife is Arundhati. Arundhati. So both of them were living outside the king's palace area in the forest, and there was a Gurukul there. And rishis used to live in the ashram only sort of place in a hut. And all the brothers were sent there, and other children were also there, like Guha and all who were studying together. And within 3-4 days, Ramchandraji was so smart that in 3-4 days he mastered all the scriptures. He heard it once, he remembered it. And then when Sage Vasishtha saw that this fellow is, exceptional, then he started telling him, you take the classes of other children. So all his brothers and others, he used to take the classes, and like this time passed. And very soon, the 16 years were over. That means 16 years of age. All the brothers came to, and it was time for graduation. They used to go to the ashram Gurukul when they were 6-7 years old, and at age of 16 they used to finish, and they came back. And when they came back, Dasharath ji was very proud. My young handsome boys, they have come back. They are so smart and cultured and loving and following the dharma, that he was full of love and pride that he has got such type of sons. And to show them off, he said, sons, now it is time, rather than stay at home and get spoiled by your mothers, go around Ayodhya, and I want to show you off to others that what type of sons I have. And they were put in the chariots, and they were sent around. All of the four, they went together to tour the kingdom of Ayodhya. And as they were going around, Bharat was very compassionate. He spent a lot of time building gurukuls and refurbishing the temples. Lakshman and Shatrughan, they were building the roads and the roadside motels and helping people. So each one found something for themselves, what was conducive to them. They did that. And Ramchandraji, on the other hand, he also did some of it, but most of the time he spent in ashrams and gurukuls and various Mahatmas. And he sat there and he discussed the scriptures with the Mahatmas there. And because he wanted some clarity, teaching is different. But when you are contemplating, as he's going around, he has never seen poverty in his life. He has never seen dead people in his life. He has never seen the diseases in his life, because he has always lived in a palace and always been in a protective environment. Like Buddha also, his father stopped him from going out so that he's not exposed to death anytime. Something similar, but not so strict, but the lifestyle was such that they were never exposed. But Ramchandraji is very observant. He is watching everything and is discussing what is death, what is life, what is the purpose of life, what are the ways, what is the best way that a man can live in this life, why is he born, where does he go? All these are pertinent questions which you may also have asked sometimes when you were kids, when you are grown up, but you spend the time, अरे छोड़ो यार होगा ये फालतू के questions कहाँ से आते हैं? And we don't give it too much heed. And we keep on living in the default rut that we find ourselves in, which is get up in the morning, have breakfast, then complain about work, but go to work, then have wait for the lunch time, have the lunch, then again complain, when will the day over, get over, too many calls, too much work, and then come back. And this, it goes on and on and on. Sometimes these questions come, but you don't know where the answers are. Maybe you, a normal person, he feels it is abnormal to have these type of questions. Maybe he feels embarrassed to think of these questions and ask some people what could be the answer for these questions. But Ramchandraji was also like you and me. I turned out to be different. I kept exploring. Ramchandraji also, when the 6 months were over, they came back. The other three brothers, they were all switched on. Oh, we did this, we did that, we did this. Ramchandraji quietly went into his room, closed the room, and did not come out for 10 days. Did you know about this story? Good. You didn't know the other story also, right? You know Rama's story? Ram and Sita and Ravan? No? पापा बताओ थोड़ा. उसको पकड़ना पड़ता है. So anyway, so he went into his room, and none of the Mahatmas were able to give him a conclusive answer, an answer which he could be satisfied with. और ये हो जाता है क्योंकि answers, rule number 1, we must live life like Ram and his brothers. What is that? We should be there to do the seva of the world. When you do seva of the world without expecting anything in return, mind purifies. This is the first one. Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadar. You have all heard about it. Aja, sit down. So, ठीक है, it's okay. Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. We have heard it many times, but do we practice it? And what is the practice? Perform whatever life is presenting you in your life. Engage with it 100% without expecting a particular result. Result will always be there. but a particular result. That's where the anxiety comes. That's where the problem comes. That's where the irritation comes, because I invested so much and I got only 7%. I invested, the record was showing that 5-year return is 15%, and I got only half of it. Wasted 5 years of mine. Or you invest in a house and then after buying, you find this is not right, that is not right, this is not right. And this goes on in everything. With marriage, it happens. With children, it happens. With schooling, it happens. With job, it happens. We'll never get perfection anywhere, because world by nature is not perfect. So to expect a particular result is wrong. Anyway, I can go on talking about it, but you understand what I'm saying. So we must perform in our daily life in such a way that we serve the world, not expect anything back in world from the world. Something will come. And when you do this, purification comes. And this is what happened to Ramchandra ji. And in that purified mind, automatically the right questions get inaugurated. What is life? Where did this world come from? Where does it go back to? Am I only inside here or everywhere? Huh? How come yesterday I had a body and 12 hours have passed and I've woken up and still it's the same body, but data says that body has changed? Then how come I'm feeling it's the same body? All these type of questions, we have to, these start welling up in you when mind is quiet, and they will stick to it. Just like your mind is sticking to your duties and your children and your job. When mind is purified, it will stick to these questions in spite of what you're doing in your life. Ramchandraji was like that, but he did not get he asked those questions, but he did not get any answer from any Mahatma. Why? Second rule. So first was, purify yourself by doing seva. The right questions will come. Take those questions not to any book or any YouTube or any go to masters, realized masters, and present those. And he did not get any answer from them also. Why? No. You can get, when you ask a question, you can get a reply from outside, but the answer has to come from inside. Understand what we are saying? And this was the problem with it's not a problem, it's the way for everyone. And Ramchandraji also found himself. Maybe the masters must have told that we can only tell you so much, but you have to find the answer. Because where did the question come from? From your heart. Where will be the answer? From your heart. Outside, I am telling you something, until unless you don't take that reply and apply it on yourself, you are not going to get the answer. Mummy cannot do the homework of the daughter. Correct? She has to do it. Mummy will say, A for apple, B for boy, C for cat. And beta, what did you do in the school? What is A? A for mummy. Mummy is not going to come to the class. You have to find the answer. You have to make it your own. Exactly the same way. Can mummy eat food and your tummy will be full? Can it be? Hers is. We ate and she was full. See? So we cannot, someone eats and our tummy is full. It doesn't work that way. We have to eat to be fulfilled. Same way, we have to discover our own answers of life in order to be fulfilled from within. And this was the dilemma that Ramchandraji found himself. And he came back without talking to anyone. Just touched the feet of his father, mothers, and went into the room. Didn't eat food, didn't take bath. Oh, I like that. I take bath 2 times a day. You take bath how many times? 2. Remember, dhanda hai yahan pe. Once she takes physically and once she takes mentally. So So Ramchandraji went and he was, you can say, in that contemplation, in that intense vairagya, he felt a little bit, we can use that word, maybe depressed, because he was not finding any answers. He went into a no man's land. He did not know that he has the questions, but he's not finding the answers. And as a result, he's just lost the plot. Ramchandraji is the Lord Narayana himself. How can he lose the plot? Just like Sati can burn herself and take birth again, just as Narayana himself can take all the Dasha avatar. Why does he take that? For our benefit, so that we learn something from that incarnation. And Ramchandraji is the complete man. How a man can live perfectly on the planet as a perfect son, perfect brother, perfect husband, perfect king, all everything, even a perfect warrior. Maryada Purushottam. Maryada Purushottam. So that is what he has come to teach. So he's showing to us that he's also human by going into this sort of losing the plot. At that time, Vishwamitra comes. Why did Vishwamitra come? Because he wanted Ram and Lakshman to come with him to protect his Havan, which Ravana's Tadka and Khar and Dushan, they were Tadka, na? Tadka, Khar and Dushan, they were destroying by throwing blood, bones, and vomiting and all that, stones and everything. So he said, where is Ram? Ramchandraji is nowhere to be seen. Then they found out, this fellow has not come out for 10 days. So Vasishtha was called, this fellow has not come out for 10 days. We didn't realize that. We thought he was tired after the 6 months of touring Ayodhya. So Vasishtha is, he has not come out. Vasishtha immediately knows something is amiss. So he goes. He says, talk, talk, talk. No answer. He says, Ram, no answer. Ramchandra is not, because he is in his own zone, lost the plot. Then he increased his volume. He says, this is Guru Vasishtha waiting for you to open the door. Come on. The moment he hears the say that Guru has come, that respect, that reverence, which we all must also have. Immediately he comes, opens the door, and Guru Vasishtha goes in, closes the door. He says, what have you done to yourself? He says, I don't know. IDK. No IDK? I don't know. What did you eat? IDK. Which school do you go? IDK. Do you enjoy swimming? Wrong question. Do you enjoy cricket? IDK. So like this is a typical Australian, American, I don't know, it happens here or not, but lot of kids, I don't know. Ramchandraji was also in the same boat. I don't know. Maybe we all learned from him only. We learned it from him. I don't know. He says, okay, before we have any interaction, first you go take shower. Oh, but no, go. First he made him take shower, wear fresh clothes. Actually, they will wear fresh clothes. Now, eat some food, because 10 days he has not eaten food. Eat food, he ate food. Now, rest for some time. This teacher is telling him, now rest. After he rested for an hour or so, then he says, okay, now get up, wash your face, and now we will discuss what is troubling you. See, this is again an art. How to answer questions. You should not answer question on the fly. Motorcycle पे बैठा है, Swami ji, what is meditation? That चल आगे close your eyes on the motorcycle, go. That is meditation. पता चल जाएगा क्या है. No, there is a way, there is a एक सभ्यता होती है, there is a way to approach. to ask questions or to come to a satsang, etc. So this is the way that we must remain fresh, we must be well rested, we must be inquisitive, curious to know something which is worthy of knowing. After sage Vasishtha, after 10 days of not eating and drinking, sage Vasishtha, the question that is troubling me is, when will I get married? He's not waiting for that. I did not get my pizza, so I was not eating for 10 days. It doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. So he asked, so first he prepared. When his tummy was full, our teacher, Anubhanaji, some of you met Anubhanaji? You have met at, so he also comes here to London every year. And he says, keep your tummy full and mind empty. Normally, what do? We keep our mind full. Some record is going on inside. And either we fast because we are not hungry because of this overthinking, or we overeat because of the stress that it is creating. Understand, stress is not at the body level, it is at the mental level. So Ramchandraji rested, came. Now he says, okay, ask me. And that is this text called Yoga Vasishtha. So I'm not, many things he asks. We are going to just take one story out of it, which is explaining to him. What is he explaining? Let me see. I also don't know. IDK. It just says, austerity of the Suchi, the question posed by Suchi, answering the queries of Suchi, the story of Suchi. ये नहीं लिखा कि क्या story. So let's see what it says. We'll try to cover it in this given time. Suchi upakhyanam, Suchi tapaha. Tapaha, Suchi is this person. She is a demoness. She is an evil person. And she is doing tapasya. How can evil people do tapasya? They can also do tapasya. Why? What is their tapasya? I want to eat 100 people. That is a tapasya. I want to trouble every person who comes into my territory. That is a tapasya. Ravan also did tapasya. He gained 10 heads. Hiranyakashipu did tapasya. He became the master of the 3 worlds. That is tapasya. So anyone is in this creation, everyone is given the freedom to do tapasya. And if you do tapasya, you will get there. If it is done to the conclusion, you will get the result for which you have done the tapasya. Yesterday I told the story of Dhruv. Some of you were there. So in that Dhruv, what tapasya did he do? With what intention he did the tapasya? He wanted to sit on the lap of his father. Where did Lord make him sit? In his lap. So he's continuously there in the sky, never going out of sight. So similarly, tapasya means self-imposed discipline. Tapa is 2 words, ta and pa. Ta is the 16th alphabet of the Sanskrit language, and pa is the 21st language. This tapa was done by Brahmaji also. When Brahmaji was created from the navel of Narayana, and the lotus flower came out, and Brahmaji came, he looked in the front, nobody. Because creation was not there. He's the creator. He's the firstborn. Looked in front, nobody. Looked back, nobody. Looked left, nobody. Looked right, nobody. Everywhere, nobody. When you see nobody, nothing, what do you feel? You feel alone. Next thing, what will happen? What will you feel? Why am I here? Who am I? Who am I? Because no, nothing around, everything empty. And he was not afraid Even if fear came, but he was not afraid. He was saying, if there is nothing outside, maybe the answer of who am I must be inside. So in that darkness, he couldn't even see himself. So he went in, he went inside himself, he went inside the lotus flower on which he was sitting, he went inside the stalk of the lotus flower, he went to the navel of the Lord Narayana, and when he went there, he said, who am I? The answer came 1621. Tapa. And he heard that word tapa, came back, again sat down on his lotus flower. He says, what tapas should I do? See, he's asking question and he's getting answers not from outside. He's getting answer from inside. He said, tapas is chanting of Om. And what will I do chanting? By chanting Om, what will I do? You have to. Then as he chanted for many, many thousands of years, he did the chanting. Then the answer came that your job description is to create the creation. How do I create the creation? Next question. So it was told, you have to create the creation out of yourself. If I have to create the creation out of myself, then for whom? Because he doesn't know there is a wife, there's nobody there, he alone. He said, you have to create the creation as an offering to the Lord Narayana. And that is what till today he is doing. And what do we do when we do the creation? We say, or Om Brahmarpanam Brahma, before we eat, that one gave me the food and Annadata Sukhiva. What do you do? Is that what you do? Or पिठलं कसं झालंय ठीक आहे काय ठीक इतना समय मैंने सो मच टाइम आई स्पेंट मेकिंग द पिठलं एंड ठीक अच्छा नहीं बहुत अच्छा बना बच गए तो ऐसे हमारा क्रिएशन है तो इफ but when you do puja, how do you do? If you do Satyanarayan puja or any puja at home, how do you prepare food? That time do you ask, how is the food prepared? You don't even taste the food and it comes out better than other days. Tastier than other days. Why? It is made for the Lord. So now if you understand this, so many times we have made the prasad and it comes out fantastic every time, then why not make prasad every meal? Make it for the Lord rather than for husband and children and wife and parents. Do it for the Lord. It will nourish everyone. सबको लगेगा ठीक से. तो इस तरीके से मैं the reason what I gave this example was tapas. So this topic that is taken here is tapas. Suchi's tapas. So here he says, वसिष्ठ उवाच असदाभासमच्छास्म ब्रह्मास्मि ब्रह्मास्ति परमं पदं ब्रह्मण स्फुरणं कश्चित् तं जीवं विद्धि राघव. There is the supreme state called Brahman, which is of the nature of pure crystal, having the semblance of the non-existent visible universe. O Raghava, O Ram, know that to be the Jiva, or the individual soul, which is the shining or manifestation of Brahman, a little. So here, in simple words, I'm not going to go into each word and etymology of each word. Simply what Bhagavan Vasishtha is saying, O Ramchandraji, you want to come out of this mental anguish that you have created for yourself, that everything is meaningless, don't. Come out of it by thinking, what is that? The consciousness that is here, that you are, that is expressing, this life that is expressing through this body is none other than the infinite reality, that consciousness that is. Just like the space that you are living in this house is a part of the total space. The water that you are drinking is a part of the total waters. The ornament that you are wearing is a part of the total gold. Exactly the same way, this individual consciousness is nothing but the infinite or total or universal. These are different words. Total, when we use the word Brahman, Brahman means infinite consciousness. So it is formless and attributeless reality. When we come down one level from Brahman, it is called Ishvara. When we come down below from Ishvara, then you have Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. When you come down from Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, then you have got Indra and other devtas. Then when you come down from them, then you have the Karma devtas and the Gandharvas and then you come down further, then you got the human beings. Then if you go below the human being, then you got the Tala, Sutala, Patala, Patalatala, all those different lokas. Each one has different types of beings and they are more animalistic. Human being is in the middle, has the choice to go the animalistic way or the divine way. All other gods, they are fixed in their position. Brahmaji cannot say, yeah, I'm tired of creation. I want to destroy now. He can't do it. Sun cannot say, yeah, heat everywhere. I want to feel what coolness is. Let me become the sun and let me become the moon and I'll allow the moon to become the sun. Can't, he's fixed in position. Same way, all the stars also, all the galaxies also, all the nakshatras also, all the planets also, they are all locked in position. Then who is not locked in position? Only. Very good. How did you know the answer? Huh? We can move. Good. We can move. Simple answer, but okay, good. But you think sun is not moving? Oh, you think sun is not moving. Sun is moving at greater than the speed of light through the universe somewhere. And with that, all the planets are moving. Anyway, so your answer is, for your understanding, it is correct. We can move. But this human being has the choice either to become a Rakshasa or to become a Devata. And he has got one more choice, that he can go beyond being a Rakshasa or Asura and beyond being the Devata and come to realize that he is the infinite source, who is undisturbed, uncorrupted, all-pervading, Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swarup. And that he is. And this is, for this, in Kaivalya Upanishad, one shloka comes, Atmanam Aranim Kritva. So there, the Upanishadkar, the teacher, is telling the student that Arani is, you take a wooden bowl at the bottom and a wooden bowl at the top. There is a cylindrical stick in the middle and you have a rope around the stick. And when you churn, the heat that is generated in the lower bowl, you put some cotton wool or some dry grass and you get the pure fire. Pure fire. So that is an example that you get pure fire. Same way, the lower bowl is the individual consciousness, upper bowl is the infinite consciousness, and in between the rod and the churning of the rod is our mind, which is continuously contemplating that I am that infinite, I am that universal, I am that total, I am without any boundaries. And how that statement is true, we have to keep contemplating according to the scriptures. And when you think, because you are so, society, parents, past, karmas, etc., they have crystallized you into this individuality. That's what here is saying, that you are a crystallized consciousness as an individual who feels only I am this body. And you are continuously thinking of infinite. Kahin pe to, in that some friction will be created. Mind is pulling you into individuality and another part of mind is reminding you you are infinite. Friction is created. That friction purifies you. And that is what exactly that our Vasishtha is telling Sri Ramchandra contemplate in this manner. Then he says, Tadeva Tadevankasan Vitya Ya Yatyahantam Anukramat Sankalpon Mukhatam Yataha Ahamkaro Bhavatyapi. It is only that jiva which is due order is reduced to the state of ego by gross perception. When we start thinking that we are only this body, when we think that we were born, that when this consciousness thinks that we are going to die, that without breath I cannot survive, without food I cannot survive, I am only because my parents gave me birth. Wrong conclusion. Parents didn't give you birth. Then who gave you birth? Tell me who gave you birth. Tell me who gave you birth. What's your name? Your name? Myra. Okay. Who gave you birth? God. See, where are the parents? कट गया गॉड. हाँ वो बिल्कुल आंसर करेक्ट है पर उसको पता नहीं. और हमको अच्छा घर में जाके देखता हूँ गॉड ने दिया है. टेक्निकली करेक्ट है. गॉड से मांगे. Dad said, hey Abikaa, Dad said that you ask for pizza also from God, not from Daddy Mummy. But I didn't say that God created me. I said parents created me. Pizza mil gaya. Anyway, so yeah. So what was I saying? Reduced to the state of ego by gross perception. It is our own. It is that infinite divinity which is expressing through this body. But see, there is two creation. I'll tell you in short. One is God's creation, one is individual creation. Where does God creation end? Where does God creation end? Conclude. God's creation concludes, having created the world, he entered it. He's in the heart of everyone. So he created this body and he entered into the body. That is God's creation. Then what is individual creation? That I am only this body. That I was born. That I'm going to die. That these are only my parents. This is individual creation. We have to get out of this. Once upon a time, no, I don't know if I will conclude the story. Again, story is coming. Once Narada Muni he was traveling and he saw a beautiful place. Yeah, and Narada Muni is the divine messenger. And suddenly he felt the pull to go into one palace. He went. And the king said, oh, Narada Muni, we are so blessed that you have come to our palace. My daughter is going to get married tomorrow. She's doing a swayamvar. And please bless her, please bless her. Narada Muni, he's a brahmachari. He's a Narayan Bhakta. He said, yes, why not? And the daughter was brought. The father said, no. You don't bless us in front of us, you bless her privately and give her full blessings. What blessings? He looked at her, he fell in love with her. Oh, Narada Muni. He said, she's so beautiful, it is perfect for her to be my wife. And he went, bless kar diya, may you get because he's blessing. So he cannot bless anything less. He cannot also say that I have blessed you that you get married to me. So he says that may you be blessed with a husband like Narayana. And he goes to Narayana. He says, yes, my son, please give me your form. Give me the form of Hari. Hari in Sanskrit means Narayana also and monkey also. Give me the form of Hari. Bhagavan said, Tathastu, because Narayan Bhagavan knows this fellow, what is cooking in his head. He says, Tathastu. He goes feeling fully that I am of the form of Lord Narayana. I cannot be losing this Swamvar. And he stood there. And when the the princess came, she came, everyone she rejected. Eventually, she came to him, she looked at him, she laughed, and she just went away. What is this? I am of the form of Narayana, and why she laughed at me? Then he thought maybe she got mistaken. He jumps the queue, again he stands there. Again she comes, she looks at him, laughs, and goes away. 2-3 times he does that. And then suddenly in the court, in the Swayamvar, Narayana himself comes. And he comes, and the moment she sees him, she runs and puts the garland. And then he says, what was wrong after she has put the garland around his neck? He asks, what was wrong with me? I also got the form of Narayana only, Hari, Sri Hari's form. So she couldn't answer. So Lord Narayana, who has come there, he takes him and shows him the water pool, and he looks and he becomes so angry, and in that anger, but he can't curse his Ishta Devata, Narayan. So, but he still curses because when you have a desire and your desire is not fulfilled, in that anger, anything can come out. Even though he is a great sage, 64 Vidyas he has, so many thousands of years of tapasya, he has a direct entry into Narayana, Vaikuntha and coming out. Yet he cursed. He says, you made me a laughing stock. You will have to take the help of the Vanaras in your next birth. Or in one of the births, in order to defeat the evil. And that's how Ramchandraji had the Vanar Sena he had to take the help of them to defeat Ravana. So this was the story of desire. So here, Bhagwan, so we are of the image of the Lord, but we don't realize. He has created, he has entered our heart, and this body, you all know that in the 4th or the 5th month of the pregnancy, when the baby is growing in the womb of the mother, in the tummy of the mother, 4th or 5th month, the soul enters, according to Bhagavatam. Come, beta, come in. Okay, don't come. No, come. Good, sit down. What's your name? Adya, Myra. And this one is Abikaa. Correct names? Myra? Yeah. Namaste ji, बैठिए. So the individual, so he creates the body is created, the Lord as the consciousness enters in the 4th or the 5th month. After birth, if we continue like that, fantastic. But what happens after we are born? Parents teach us. This is my shoe. This is my bag. This is my clothes. This is my body. If you don't eat, you will die. If you don't eat, you will not be intelligent. If you don't eat, so many. School also teaches you. And then when you grow up, you come to one satsang like this, and you are told you have to give up all that. Why did we program ourselves in this manner? So here Bhagwan is, sage Vasishtha is telling that happening to be intent on thought or willing, it indeed, meaning when consciousness becomes intent, when consciousness becomes focused, when consciousness accepts some, how does water become ice? Can only water become ice, or some particle of dust has to be there in order to become ice? Or the water becomes cloud. How does it become cloud? Some dust has to be there, some particle has to be there, around which it envelops itself. Same way, when a consciousness envelops, how does it envelope? When man envelops a woman, he is called Hasiband. When man envelops or starts thinking or is having an intent of a child, then he is called a father with reference. And this way we keep crystallizing our consciousness, which is actually infinite. And with more and more association, we keep crystallizing. What is this crystallization? Crystallization of the ego. And what is ego? Ego is like the ice cubes, uncomfortable in every container. But water, comfortable in every container, isn't it? Whether you put it in a pot, whether you put it in a tube, whether you put it in a dish, whether you put it in a parat, whether you put in a closed pipe, it flows everywhere. Ice, it will make noise. So who are we? The one who flows smoothly everywhere, comfortable in every situation? Or are we the ones who react and make noise for every damn thing? Answer, don't answer loudly. Answer inside. So in this manner, sage Vasishtha is asking for Ramchandraji to think in this manner. I have added too many things to it. I gave you a story of Naradji. I told you the story of the Ishwar Srishti and Jiva Srishti. I told you the difference between ice and water. All that is with reference to this one particular words. Now continuing. Chittam cheto manomaya prakritischeti namabhat dirgha swapna sthitim yatah sansarakyam manovashat. Thought, consciousness, mind, illusion, and nature, these are the names it takes on. Who? Ego. Ego takes the name of the thought. Ego takes the name of imagination. Ego takes the name of illusion. Ego takes the name of mind. Another name for ego is mind. Another name for ego is nature. And these are the name it takes on. Under the influence of the mind, it has attained to the condition of a long dream called worldly existence or succession of births and deaths. It is this ego which feels it is going to die after death, and it is going to be reborn after death. It is this ego which feels, if I do good deeds, I'll go to heaven. If I do bad deeds, I'll go to hell. How do you know? I'll go to hell. So it is this ego. God never thinks like this. Consciousness never thinks like this. It is this crystallized consciousness which feels it is only this form. It starts feeling this. I must do my duties. I must be God-fearing. I must do sadhana. I must do pranayam. I must do yoga. I must do swimming. I must do singing. I must give lectures. This is ego. Huh? But Bhagwan doesn't do anything. He is happy where he is, as it is. But if this ego is there, how do you dissolve this ego? How do you dissolve ice cube? Tell me.
Putting it in fire.
Good. Do you need to put in fire? Only then the ice cube will melt. Can you put it in the sun? Good. If you leave the ice cube on a plate on the kitchen table, will it start melting?
Yes.
Yes. So it doesn't need to be in the fire. It doesn't need to be in the sun. So even slight heat, because in the nature, there's always heat. If you take it out of the freezer and keep it there, it will immediately go back to its original nature. Understand? Important point. Whenever you come back to when you come back to be still, you will go back to your original nature. So same thing. We don't have to do anything. We do something, we'll create more complications in our life. You stop doing anything, but I don't know how to do it. Chant Om. It will bring you back to, and your personality, your ego, your crystallization, you, the ice cube, it will start melting. So that is what he is telling here. And he says that all this whole game is going on in the ego. Ego is expressing as the I in the mind, I thought. Mind is nature. So what is the difference between the Ishwara's Prakriti and our mind? Prakriti of Ishwara and the mind of Jiva. They are one and the same thing. But what is the difference? Ishwara is undisturbed by his Prakriti. We are slaves of our mind. You understand? If you engage in practices that you become the master of your mind, there is no difference between you and Ishvara. And this is the spiritual journey that every scripture, that every sage, every saint, every Ramayana or Srimad Bhagavatam, come on. What was your name? Shanaya. Sit down. You too. Yes. Shrinika, na? Sanika. I remember Shrinika. Nika, Nike. I remember. Okay. So all this, you think, what is, before we get into the story, what do you think that this creation was before you were born, right? This is what you're thinking is. You think that after you die, the creation will continue, correct? You think when you are sleeping, the creation was there, isn't it? All wrong conclusions. All wrong conclusions. This is only the projection of the mind, our mind. This ego is projecting because it wants to keep itself crystallized. So it projects. What does it project? That which will keep it in the game. If it thinks about God, he will dissolve. If he thinks about the world, he will become stronger. Who wants to be weak? Do you want to be weak? Nobody wants to be weak. Unless you realize that if I become really weak, I'll be divine, then you will be ready to become weak. But otherwise, you'll keep becoming stronger and be in control. And to be in control, you'll keep thinking about the world. So here, this is what is told, continuing. Asamyak darshanat sthanau eva puns pratyayo dृढ़ः चिदात्म जीवयोर भेदो नैवैवं जीव चित्तयोः. Just as there is the firm conviction that a pillar is a man due to wrong understanding, so there is not at all any difference between the conscious self and the individual soul. Thus also between the individual soul and the mind, that is, the former is mistaken to be ladder. In other words, when you are, do you get fog here? Foggy days are there. When you're foggy days, you're going to school. In Delhi, we used to get. And when we were kids, we used to get scared. What is that? And we are going to school. And the servant has dropped us at this halfway. And yeah, there's this bus stop. You go there. And early in the morning, 6:30. Poor children. 6:30, we have to go to school. And we are going, and it is still foggy. And some light is shining somewhere, and the fog is, sometimes you could imagine different apparitions. And my sister would just hold on to my hand. Dada, Dada, look, what is that? She is afraid, I'm also afraid then, because she is seeing something which I have not seen. And when I see it, I also start. And somehow then suddenly we see some uncle, auntie going, and we go quickly, start walking behind them, and they are not afraid. How come we are afraid? After a few times, then you get over it. But initially, just like our mind imagine, like if I press my eye just now, if you also press, you can see two people, isn't it? Are there two people or there's only one person? Only one person, isn't it? So same way, is there that ghost on the post, or is there only the post which is appearing as a ghost because of the the fog? Or you can see another time. If you take shower for a long time in the bathroom, like I did yesterday, not today, yesterday, and uh, I didn't realize पानी मेरे को वो ठंडा ही नहीं हो रहा था. तो जब when I finished, I went in front of the mirror. It's all foggy. So I took the towel. It was also wet after wiping. So I wiped it, and suddenly I could see half my teeth, this part of my nose, only one eye, all hair like this, half daddy. Who is this fellow? And I got scared at looking myself. Then I wiped it again completely. And as I was wiping, suddenly complete Swamiji was seen. Normal. Same way. Same way. This mind, this ego projects the world. And here is saying that this individual soul, and what are the words that he has used? That he has said, just as there is that the pillar is the wrong understanding, that the ghost is a wrong understanding. Similarly, that we are the individual soul is the wrong understanding. Consciousness with dirt is called ego. A mirror with mist is called a ghost looking at you. Similarly, consciousness with dirt. What is the dirt? The dirt is memories. So when consciousness is colored by the memories, ego, what is seen is the apparition, the ghost. That is the ego. And here, so don't mistake yourself to be the ego. Then what we should consider ourselves to be? We should consider ourselves to be the infinite, pristine, immaculate consciousness, which is all pervasive, which is ever Satchidanand Swarup. And in this, with this regards, here now he is going to tell the story. And he says, Nachit sargayorvapi kopi bheda katanchana atraivodaharantim harantim amam itihasam puratanam. Nor is there any difference whatsoever between the mind and the world. Now tell me, there is no difference between the mind and the world. How? कभी सोचा है इसके बारे में? That there is no difference between the mind and the world. You feel you are in the world, or do you feel the world is in you? What is your conclusion? Huh? You are in the world. How? सहज तरीके से बोल दिया, अच्छी बात है. Very good. See, how will you prove it that the whole world is in your mind, that you are not in the world? Think. No, right now. You are not going to a lonely place. In the dream, where does the world come from? Does it come from outside, or does it come in your mind? Your mind only becomes the space, air, fire, water, earth. Your mind only becomes the people, mountains, rivers, trees, bushes, fruits, past, present, future, all the directions. Everything is your mind. Your mind becomes the mind of all the people in the dream. Your mind becomes the life of all the people in the dream, isn't it? And where do everyone go when you wake up? कभी सोचो, think differently. Nowhere. Good, very good. Exactly the same thing happens in the waking also. Just like mind has projected the entire world, in the dream and become everything. Exactly the same thing is happening in the waking also. Our mind has projected who Shanaya, it has projected, Sanika, it has projected, Myra, it has projected, Prakash, it has projected, laptop, it has projected, camera, it has projected, space, time, objectivity, it has projected. And where does it go when you go to sleep? Goes back from where it came. So you're back to the Ishvara when you go to sleep. Now to explain this point, a story is. Now we come to the story. So here he says, what is that? Himadre Ramavat Parshve Karkati Nama Rakshasi Tasya Vipulakayatvat Durlabhatvat Nijandhasaha Nakadachana Natruptim Upayata Mahodari. There was a demoness. You know who's a demoness? Who is a bad person? Who is bad person? Do you have huh? Demon? You know demon? Okay. So she is a demoness. Demon is a male. Demoness is a female. You're smart guys. Demoness. And her name was Karkati. Her name itself is Karkati. And she used to live at the near the Himalayas. Himalayas are in the north of India, and all the snow peak mountains are there, very, very pointed ones. And she used to live near them. And because of her large body and the scarcity of her food, the big bellied one never attained satisfaction even once. So she's got a huge body. She's living near Himalayas. In Himalayas, there are less trees, so there will be less animals, and she's always hungry, even though she's such a big body. Who? Karkati. So what happened after that? Jambu Dvipagatan Sarvan Nigiramiti Nishchita Vyavasthita Tapah Kartum Tam Pitamaha Ayadhau Rakshasyuvacha Bhagavan Bhuta Bhavashyesha Syamaham Jeva Suchika. She is fed up by her condition. When you are fed up by your condition, what do you want to do? If you can do nothing, it will be fantastic. But you don't. See, you said nothing, but you did something. You said nothing. That is doing. Oh, yes, that is another one. But again, they said something. Anyway, so she is so tired of her hunger, but continuously hungry and never enough food to eat. So instead of complaining, instead of nobody to complain also, then what did she do? She did tapasya. Remember, the chapter began with the idea of tapasya. We gave you Hiranyakashipu's, Brahmaji's, different tapasya, the Narad Muni's. So she started doing tapasya. And she invoked, when Rakshasas do tapasya, they go 110%, more than Devatas. And Brahmaji had no choice but to appear in front of her. And when he appeared in front of her, what did she say? Bhagavan Bhuta Bhavashyesha Syamaham Jiva Suchika. She says, Oh Brahmaji, oh controller of the universe, oh creator of the universe, let me become the piercer needle of the living. Because she wanted to eat. So she wanted to, this is, Suchika is a, sui bolte na, sui. Sui. Which sui? Which needle? This is good one. Suchika, another meaning is cholera. Cholera is a disease. Another meaning of Suchika is needle. So what do you do when you are having a disease? You go to a doctor, he puts a needle inside you. If you are bitten by a dog, how many needles you get? 14. How big needles are? They are that big needles, long needles. They go into your bum. 14 needles, 14 injections. Why? To remove the disease. So if you get flu, you go to the doctor, what does he give you? Injection, flu injection. Suchi. See, when we went for COVID, what did we get? Injection, Suchi. So she said, and another meaning of it is cholera. So she said, this is how I will fill up my tummy by becoming the needle. So, Brahmaji, when someone has done so much tapasya, he cannot say no. He did not say no to Hiranyakashipu. He did not say no to Ravan. How can he say no to this demoness? He will say. So here he says, Pitamaha uvacha evamastu tata hi tvam bhavishyasi vishuchika durmojana durarambhaha murkha dusthita yascha ye durdeshavasino dushtaha tesham vyadhi bhavishyasi. Brahmaji said, so be it, tathastu. You will become the disease, Vishuchika. So she wanted to become the needle, but Brahmaji said, you will become Vishuchika. Vishuchika is cholera. You will become the ailment of those who eat bad food. What is bad food? Pizza without vegetables. Correct, Mummy? Good. Chocolate without vegetables. Yes. Chapati without vegetables is not healthy. Is not. Is not. Try. Be ready for injection. Mummy, take care. So here he says that any person who eats bad food, what is bad food now?
Food without vegetables.
No, that was okay. But what is bad food? Bad food is that which is old food. Is bad food.
What's old?
Old food is yesterday's food, is old food. That which food which comes out of fridge is bad food. Fresh FFF, fresh from fridge. That food which comes out of cans and preservatives, it is bad food. Okay, it is bad. You may not say it is bad because you like it, but according to fresh, when different definition of fresh and bad is this. So what is fresh food? You grow the vegetables, pluck them, nicely saute them, cook them, and eat. Vegetables, what about pizza? Put it on the pizza. Put it in the sandwich. See? So bad food, all these diseases, why are we getting? Because we have got a good lifestyle, but all the money that we are earning is not going into healthy diet. Think, why have we started earning money? We wanted, इससे अच्छा तो फ्रेश खाना तो रोज इंडिया में मिल रहा था. यहाँ पे आके क्या पा दिया? सिर्फ पैसा पाया, खाना कहाँ है? डिजीज तो हर दूसरे दिन कोई ना कोई, some new disease is coming. Anyway, that is the way it is written. What you do with your life, that is up to you. Be ready for Shuchika. Be Shuchika. So here he says, you will become the ailment of those who eat bad food, engage in evil deeds. What is evil deed? That you talk bad about someone, you manipulate someone, you trouble someone. How do you trouble someone? By thinking bad about someone, by talking bad to someone disrespectfully, by hitting someone, stealing something, etc., etc. Evil deeds, and also those people who are stupid. Who is stupid? Who is stupid? No one. Stupid, what do you understand by stupid? That foolish, who does not understand simple things. Like when you say nothing. Now you got her. Okay. But the answer was correct. You don't know that, I know. And having a bad living. What is bad living? Tell me, kids, what is bad living? You have to say it in short term. IDK. What is bad living? Bad living means not sleeping in time. Bad living means not getting up in time. Not washing your teeth in the morning. Brushing your teeth in the, sorry, brushing your teeth. I was going to say washing your teeth and brushing your face. Sorry. It's the other way around. And also, bad living is not making your bed, not taking shower in the morning is bad living. Not wearing fresh clothes every day when you go to school is bad living. Not keeping your books in place is bad living. Am I pressing some points? Huh? I am not. Brahmaji is saying. I am not saying it. Brahmaji is saying. The creator. I am saying his words. I read the shloka, no? The mantra. Yeah. So I am him only. So, and also those who are living bad living and dwell in a bad place and are wicked or corrupt. What is bad place? Under the bridge. All those people who are homeless. That is bad living. But at home, how can we live bad? By not changing our sheet every week at least. Not washing your hair once a week at least. You do that, good girl. Oh man, you are lucky you are a boy. I also do every day. Yeah, you have hardly any hair. Look at their so long ones. But good, you take it. Every day you wash your hair. Very good boy. So you're living clean. What about girls? Once a week, good. Yeah. You can't wash every day. If you wash every day, you will become like who is here? Nobody. No. Abhijit uncle. Slowly, everything will start going away. I'm camouflaging. Here it is empty. It's only in the front, it is there. Here, at the back. So in this way, Vishuchika is a disease which is modern medical parlance of cholera. That is the meaning of Vishuchika. So continuing the story. अथ सूक्ष्म शरीरासा प्राणि प्राणैक घातिनी बभूव बहुवर्षाणि ततः सा चिन्तयत् swayam. Then possessing a subtle body means when Bhagavan told him that you become the disease, she has to give up that big body with which she was living at the bottom of the near the Himalayas, and she could not get the food to fill up her stomach. Now, with that big body, how can she pierce someone? She left that body and took the fine body, which is a subtle body, and then became the destroyer solely of the vitality of life principle of living beings for many years. So you are kids, we were also kids, but those who are adults in the early 19th century, 20th century, we had a cholera epidemic. So many millions of people all over the planet died. Villages after villages where people died. So exactly like that. Once this Vishuchika, she had killed so many people by becoming cholera, a disease. She started reflecting. She started thinking. My God, what a Suchiyam Raktamasanam Kanamatrena Puryate Kwamekhtani Vishalani Gatan Yangani Durdhiyaha Iti Sanchintya Bhuyopi Tapastepe Sudarunam. The piercer of blood and flesh is filled up by a mere particle. Where have these large limbs of evil-minded gone for me? She didn't start thinking about the people. she started thinking, I became a disease. I am entering into people as the disease, usually through the pores and everything. And where has my body gone? Where have my limbs gone? Where have my legs and hands gone? I used to be so hungry. Where has my tummy gone? Till now, she is not. After killing so many, she is thinking that where has my body gone? Have you ever thought, where has your body gone when you are sleeping? Body vanishes, no, when you are sleeping? People know. Do you know that when you are sleeping? No, you can't, because your mind is empty. You know, you know, that is after waking up, you know you are on the bed. While sleeping, when your eyes are closed, you're snoring away. I don't snore. Okay, I know you don't snore. Okay. I am sorry, I'm sorry. I know you don't snore. Okay. So she started thinking in this manner, where have the large limbs of this evil-minded me who's killing everyone, where has my body gone? Thus, having thought, she performed again fierce austerity. Again, thinking in this manner, she started remembering Brahmaji. She started doing tapasya. Remember tapasya? This is how we began the chapter. So, second time she is doing tapasya. Now, what happens? Babhuva nirmala sapi tapasa kshina kalmasha tasthausa khila sansara he yatam rudhi kurvati. Even she became, and as she did tapasya, first time she did tapasya, she said, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Brahmane Namah, Om Brahmane Namah. I want to fulfill my hunger. I want to fulfill my hunger. Om Brahmane Namah. Brahmaji came, fulfilled. Now she is not asking for anything in return. She is just remembering Om Brahmane Namaha. And in that remembrance, that where has my body gone? Where has my limbs gone? Question is, if I don't have my body, then where am I? Then who am I? What am I? This is the question that is troubling her. And she is thinking of Brahmaji. And in that process, she says, she remained thinking in her heart that the entire worldly existence was fit to be abandoned because now she doesn't have a body and she, because of her, so many people are dying and she's becoming, what do you call it, disgusted with her existence. That this is not the way I want to live. I don't even have a body. I don't even have the pleasure of killing because there's no body. When a murderer is there, if he kills someone, if he gets that satisfaction. But here there is no body also. And she starts, आ जाओ आइए आइए यहाँ पे आइए माता जी जगह है बैठो वहां पे ठीक है कम इन another few minutes will conclude. So she started thinking and she started having vairagya towards the world. When you do not have a body, automatically the question will come into your mind eventually, who am I? If you remain awake when you are going to sleep, if you remain awake when you are going to sleep, for some time you will keep playing the game because of curiosity. What happens if mind becomes zero and I remain awake? What will happen? You don't know. You keep experimenting. After some time, mind is sleeping. You're still awake. Hey, अब क्या करेंगे? And next day you are functional also. And you start. If you keep doing this for some time, question will come in your mind. Then if mind is zero and I am still there awake, then who am I? Because in that zero mind, there is no body, there is no breath, there is no thought. Because without thought, you cannot come to know breath. Without thought, you cannot come to know your body. So in that zero mind, when you are awake, the question will come, who am I? What am I? And that is exactly what happened to this. What was her name? Karkati. Her name was Karkati. Now she has become Vishuchika. And then when she did this type of tapasya, she's thinking, who am I? That time, whenever a student, whenever a devotee, whenever a tapasvi starts thinking, who am I? Answer comes. The Lord comes and gives you the answer. Here, Brahmaji comes and he says, Tavesha Tavedha tadrushi jnatva samupetya vacho bravit jivan mukta sihe vatse ardate galitam tamaha. Brahma, the creator, having known her to be such and going to her, spoke these words because he knows how she was. She was Karkati before. Now she's Vishuchi. He knows because he's the all-knower. He knows everything. He's everywhere. So he knows what is the thought going on in her mind, that she has become, she is not thinking of her body. She's not thinking of her hunger. She's disgusted with the world, that she's killing everyone, and she has, that there are no answers in this world because she's never satisfied still. So she's thinking about something higher. So Brahmaji comes and he gives her the answer. She says, Vatse, hey Vatse, my dear child, you are liberated while living. The darkness in your heart has vanished. What is that darkness in your heart? When such questions come, who am I? And when they come, when your mind is empty. When is the mind empty? Hey, careful, don't move the table. When is the mind? It's okay. Don't do that. You can kick her, but not the table. Okay, got it? And don't say IDK. So coming back to the point, when your mind is silent, when your mind is empty, with this thought will conclude, because she's realized now. Brahmaji has said, someone has to confirm, no? Who confirms that you are now husband and wife? Priest, Pandit ji. सब मंगल सूत्र डाल दिया, सिंदूर लगा दिया. Now we declare you husband and wife. But British government will not accept. You have to sign a paper also. Then you are declared as husband and wife, isn't it? So same way, exactly the same way. Someone has to come and tell us. A realized master tells us. But here in this is a relative immortality. It's not the absolute one. So Brahmaji comes and says, Ramchandraji also had the same problem. His mind was empty. He had no interest in the world. Don't forget the story with which we began. His mind was empty. He was lying in his bedroom for 10 days. And he had complete dispassion towards the world. He was not caring about the body. He was not caring about the hunger. He was not caring about the shower, sleep, nothing. He was awake but empty. This can lead to, when you don't know, it can lead into depression. But when a teacher comes and says that when you are awake and mind is empty and there are no thoughts of the body, you are realized here and now. And suddenly the spark lightens up in that dispassionate mind, in that Vairagya Yukta mind. Suddenly it gets a direction because it was looking at the emptiness. When you look at emptiness, is emptiness a thing to look at? Sure. But yet we say, no, I was sitting in meditation and my mind was empty. Mind, how can you know empty mind? You cannot know empty mind. You can know absence of objects, but you cannot know zero mind. So this is the mistake that a sadhaka makes on the seat of meditation or whatever. So until unless he is not reminded that this state that he is in, he is looking outwards because there is no object, he has got Vairagya, but that Vairagya must not lead to depression. If in that emptiness, he comes to ascertain that I know absence of objects. Objects are missing. I know absence and presence of objects. Sometimes objects are present, sometimes objects are absent. So I'm looking at her, she's there. Then I move here, she's not there. If waking and dream, there are objects. In deep sleep, there are no objects, isn't it? It's your experience. So when you start thinking, the teacher has to tell you that. Suddenly you realize, Acha, so I'm that. Aham Brahmasmi. Straight away. At that moment it clicks. And that's what happened to our in the conclusion verse, he says, Puratana vapu prapya sukhini bhuvane chara eva mukta chiram tasthau nirvikalpa samadhina. Obtain your earlier body. Brahmaji gave her the Karkati body and tell her, go about this world happily. Having been told thus, she remained for a long time in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, the yogic state of absolute consciousness, without the distinction of the knower, known, and the knowing. This point we can tell more detail, but it's not required here. So, and in this manner, Suchi, Karkati, who became Vishuchi, again gained her body back, and now she is a realized Karkati. And now she's in Samadhi all the time. What is Nirvikalpa Samadhi? What is Nirvikalpa Samadhi? Yes, correct. But there is one difference. IDK also means I don't know. IDK is I don't know.
Yeah.
But here, Nirvikalpa Samadhi is what? Nirvikalpa Samadhi is where the mind is empty and you are awake, not to the emptiness of the mind, but you are awake to the consciousness that you are. This is the conclusion. This is not the final stage, because from Nirvikalpa Samadhi you can come out. And again you do practice, you again go into Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Just like you come out of sleep, every day you go to sleep, again you get up, again you go to sleep, again you get up. Samadhi is also like that. You go into sleep, Samadhi, you come out of Samadhi. You go into Samadhi, you come out of Samadhi. But eventually when you practice enough of being subjective, it turns into Sahaja Samadhi. Sahaja Samadhi is whether you are sleeping, whether you are awake, whether you are dreaming, you are always one with the consciousness that you are. With this thought, Vasishtha ji is giving an indication to Ramchandra ji that the state that you are in is not an abnormal state. It is a healthy state. Just you were mistaken in your orientation. Now correct your orientation, come back to yourself and be happy, live happily. And this is how Ramchandra ji throughout his life, this is just one story, many stories are there. Throughout his life, Ramchandra ji is realized. Sita was realized on the other side. Two realized masters marry each other. Two realized masters live their entire life in the light of realization. They're not attracted to each other because she's so beautiful, I can't live my life without her. Not like that. It was because Ramchandra ji also got realized, Sita ji was already realized, Janak Maharaj was realized, Dasharath Maharaj is the one who has controlled his senses and mind, therefore Dasharath, not Dashanana. Dashanana is slave of 10 vices, here he has 10 senses and he is the master of 10 senses. So in this way, our scriptures give different indications, and here is one example by which we can make our life more fulfilling if we have understood the story and the connotation behind it. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Just sit quietly for a moment. Hari Om.